the name of the book?
Just a second.
Just
a second. Just a second. Welcome, everyone, to Ladder Daily Digest. It's Tuesdays with Tim, and we're going to feature UAPs, UFOs, and BYP.
Oh, yikes.
And so what we're going to need to do is we're going to turn the time over to Tim for something else that he's been just today interested in.
Wait a minute. Okay. All right.
Tim, you're live. Start talking.
I'm live. Am I live? I'm live. Okay. The first thing I want to talk about is this article about Brian Hales and his second wife. Apparently, the church has hired him to write a biography of Joseph Smith. My question for Brian is, what are you going to leave out? I think this is going to be a response to Vogel and Bushman and Hill and Brodie, right? I wonder what Brian's going to leave out. I want to know what you're going to leave out.
They volunteered him.
They volunteered him.
Yeah.
Now, and Brian wrote 3 books on polygamy. It was his contention that it was only spiritual, that he didn't have relations with any of the women.
Move your phone. We want to see you.
Oh, okay. And then he changed his mind, because I went after him on this page and I said, what truth are you going to leave out? And he said, that's not very nice. I said, well, do you still maintain that Joseph Smith didn't have sex with any of his wives? And he said, I never said that. And I went back to message on Facebook from 2014 where he said that's exactly what he said.
Ooh.
So, and then I posted those conversations back on Brian's page to this post. Anyway, so Brian Hales, gaslighting as usual, and I like
it's a 12-month assignment. I mean, what can he get done in 12 months? Copy and paste?
Well,
I don't know.
But he can use Dan Peterson's help for that. That's what he does.
Pardon?
He could use Dan Peterson's help in the copy and paste.
Well, Friday night on Mormonism Live, RFM and Bill Real gave him a nice nickname. We're going to call him Ether from now on, since he isn't an anesthesiologist. Ether. Because he puts people to sleep. Literally, he's an anesthesiologist. So he's going to put people to sleep.
Oh my. Okay, that's enough ad hominem. Oh, that is funny though.
So, but I'm waiting for Brian's response. Anyway, go on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I never read his 3 books on polygamy all the way through. I was reading in one of the volumes, and I got talking about it with someone, and they kind of shared their personal experience with Hales and the research, and he's thorough. I mean, look, the man's written 3 books and I haven't, so he's got me on that. But it is in a vein such that it's just not gonna be. Well, I mean, what's his head? Oh, hold on, I'm gonna pull a BYP on you. Got to pull a. I apologize, but this one, in sacred loneliness, it's not going to be of this caliber, and so that's who was this? It's been so long. Yeah, Todd Compton. So it'll be interesting to see what this book says. I think.
Yeah, it will be.
There you. Oh, that's even. Oh, yes. And you know what? I had that book in my hands and I never bought it, and I'm still kicking myself for that. I should have got it. Anyway. No.
Tim, you could ask him a serious question. Ask him if he was called to do this, or if he suggested that he do it, and that would be his mission. Because I'm just curious about that.
Good point.
Is he hinting that it's some kind of an assignment, Brother Jones?
Oh,
Yeah, he
it's,
says
it's
it's
in
an
the
assignment.
MTC. They're in the MTC. They got called on a mission to Salt Lake City headquarters. How about that?
Wow. Talk about connections.
I see a metaphor in the picture that was used there in the news article, because he's reaching, can you stretch the truth? Are you capable of mental gymnastics? This is the first qualification for the job. I'm sure he helped the church with writing the gospel topic essay on polygamy, and so they trust him. But I thought Richard Turley was going to write a biography about Joseph Smith.
Maybe. Who knows?
Okay.
That same Richard Turley that wrote the Hoffman book, and Gordon Hinckley said, "Don't hold anything back, give it all." I believe it is. Yeah,
I
yeah.
like Greater Free Mormon's viewpoint. You don't have to marry somebody to not have sex with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot have sex with them without even getting married to them at all. So anyway, now that we have 7 people watching, and Debbie, I think, is going to join soon as she can figure it out.
She said she can.
Yeah. So Carrie has 11 days ago did a response video to some interesting information. It was professor from Stanford. Can't remember his name now.
Gary Nolan.
Gary Nolan. So
What are true great gifts to science. I'm just so not kidding. That man is phenomenal.
He had done an interview, and Carrie did a review of it and got a lot of hits. It became sort of viral, right, Carrie, for you?
Yeah, I'm black and blue from it. 90,000 hits in 9 days, man. I've never seen
Yeah. So
so
I'm going to go for
Wow.
nine hits. We're hoping to get a 9-hit viral video here.
and it'll reach 100 because it averages about 500 a day still.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Cool.
it's a big topic. And then my other video about Lou Elizondo is approaching 40,000 in just 3 days, I think, 3 or 4.
Wow.
So they're averaging about 10,000 a day on the subject. It's a really enormous subject, and there is a lot of interest in it. So
Yeah. And so since then, you've done a number of other shows.
I
And
just
you
posted a video 10 minutes ago.
You have gotten deeper than I ever thought you would have gotten into the whole idea of UAPs and UFOs. And, you are excited, but you also express caution at the same time. And Tim has expressed some interest in UFOs and other things. And so I thought it'd be good to have sort of a little discussion with all of us on board. And
Yeah, I'm really glad to see Rob and Brother Jones, and Debbie's trying to jump in too, because the more good minds, the better. It's just so much more, especially on this topic. This is I will confess, I am still wrapping my mind around that, and I'm not going to get my mind wrapped around this for a long time. It's something else.
And just for listeners, or you guys, you can read the preface and the introduction on Google Books, I think, for free. I read that. I read them yesterday of this book that you're going to talk about, Carrie. Imminent.
What book? Oh,
Imminent.
Oh, my mercy.
You can read the first 2 chapters, basically.
Oh, really? So they've
Not
shared
online.
that. Okay. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
I did.
it just kind of sets it up. It kind of sets it up what the book's about, and I never thought I'd be reading about this kind of stuff, but it's pretty interesting.
It is. It's fun. And to be fair, he's probably 50-50, I would guess. But I mean, I'm so relatively new to, I was in a Zoom meeting last Sunday with Jim Garrison of all people. He's as
Jim
big
Garrison?
Yeah. Jim Garrison. I was in a Zoom meeting with him and about 50 other people.
You need to send me a link to those meetings.
Yeah, with this Citizens for Disclosure that Danny Sheehan has started. And I'm just in awe that they even let me in. And I confessed to him. I said, I'm relatively new at this. I mean, you know, I've heard stuff through the decades, but I really haven't jumped on it. And my wife, bless her heart, she's recovered from cancer, but it's kind of, you know, made her so she's less than active at this point. And she watches these videos all the time. And she's been telling me for about 1.5 years, you guys. She said, hey, I kind of watched a cool video today. And, you know, I was stuck into responding to the Dingling Brethren out of Salt Lake City. You know, I was doing my BYP response on What's His Nose Nelson and Whistlehead Oaks and all those guys. That's disrespectful. I apologize. But so she has been helping me navigate who is best to look into. There's Debbie. Welcome, Debbie. Good to see you, dear.
Hi, Debbie.
Sorry, I was like ding, 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 ding. I'm so
okay.
technically challenged. I'm so sorry. I'm so
No.
sorry.
I'll bet I can beat you for stupidity on technically challenged, I'll tell you. So anyway, the what was I lying about? I confessed to him I'm relatively new at this, but my videos in the last 10 days, under 2 weeks, I just never, I could not, I still can't fathom it. I've increased 2,200 new subscribers in 10 days.
Wow.
And I've had 320,000 views in total. And it's just, it's shocking me. But the people who are commenting, I encourage people to comment so that I can get their inputs. Oh, and I found some fabulous links from people. There are people who have gathered, you know, 10 or 15 cameras down in Australia. I can't remember the name of his website. I'll let you know, and Gene can put it in the description, where 24/7 he has cameras on the sky and he's tracking UFOs. And of course you see the jets and, you know, you'll see the, you know, meteorite or, you know, falling star or whatever, but he's tracking them and he's saying, look, this is the raw data. And we can analyze this, you know, as I gather it. And I told him, I said, what a brilliant idea. So I joined his, and it's on YouTube, and I joined it, and it's a live stream. It's happening as you're watching it. I don't know how he does this, but he's got that capability, and it's 24/7. No joke. It is incredible. So stuff like this, I'm getting connected with people like that. And so, but I expressed to Jim Garrison, I said, the interest here is just enormous. And Danny Sheehan, in his timing of putting together this Citizens for Disclosure Day, and we're planning some other activities coming up, but what a perfect timing to do this. And it's worldwide. So we'll have various meetings. So Tim, you know, you can join this Citizens for Disclosure Day, and you can get in the group I'm in because we're in the same area in the United States. All of us can join in as far as that goes. But it's just one of those things that is expanding beyond what I was expecting it to at all. And it's not a topic that I'm a real way out there kind of guy. I mean, I'm learning who to stay away from on YouTube, who to start paying attention to. And so far, a lot of my viewers who have been into this for 40 years, they're saying my start is correct with who I'm using and who I'm commenting on. So just I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but my videos have I'm trying seriously to take it serious but have fun, but really I'm doing it right with the good upper crust, those in the know with the government, the science, and the normal Joes, all of us, because I'm
Who
nobody.
are you following?
Pardon?
Who are you following?
Danny Sheehan, without question.
Right.
That man is absolutely God's gift to this site. He is amazing. Gary Nolan, #1 scientist. That man is utterly astonishing. He has metal from one of the craft, and he's testing it. No kidding. He got it from Jacques.
Carrie
Joshua.
or Tim, could you just briefly tell us who those two people are? And
Yes.
briefly,
Yes.
like why
Danny,
are they important? Yeah.
good point. Thank you. Danny Sheehan is a public lawyer for the public good. He worked on the Watergate. He has worked on some of the biggest cases in public in existence for the United States for the last 50 years. He's like 79. He's very energetic for his age. He's
been
public
investigating all this for like 40 years.
Yes, yeah, and he's been with the UFO. And John Mack, the one who wrote that book on all of the abductions, he represented him when he was at Harvard, and when his book came out, they illegally put him under a Harvard Inquisition, and they were going to destroy his testimony. And they said, "This is not the kind of crap we want. Who do you think you are?" And it wasn't even a professorial review. They were going to strip him of his tenure. And so Danny Sheehan went to represent him and won the case for him. He made Harvard back off. And that's why John Mack survived that. But and now he's doing this UAP, and he is representing Lou Elizondo, who was a former government agent.
He authored that book that we just mentioned.
Yes, yeah. And he did that because he was actually in the secret government ATIP investigating UFOs for like 8 or 9 years, and everyone above him just kept putting the kibosh. They would undermine him. They would steal his funding. They would not cooperate with him. And out of frustration,
he resigned.
Right? He did. He resigned. And he had I think they call it a C-15 clearance, the highest there is. He could go in any room he wanted, even if the president was giving a speech on live television, he could walk in if he wanted. And he resigned that to get the information to the American public that the UAPs are. Now, he takes the case that they're a national security threat. And what really brought this about was the 2 Navy pilots who were flying in formation, chasing one of these Tic Tac UAPs, and the thing was flying out in front of them, and it came at them so fast, and it split their formation. They were 100 feet apart, and that Tic Tac went in between them, and it scared the hell out of them. And when they landed, all of the pilots have been being told by the commanding admiral or whoever it was on the ships through the years, nope, not interested in hearing it. No, you did not see that, etc. These 2 pilots said, this shit's getting dangerous. That is not acceptable. That thing split our formation. And all 4 of the pilots agreed. They said that thing came between us and then disappeared in 1 second.
So you mentioned Sheehan and the other guy's name.
Yes, I'm sorry. And Gary Nolan, who is he and why is he important? He is a geneticist at Stanford. He has, I'm going to say 7, it might be 17, I can't remember. There's a 7 in there, or 27 patents in the medical field that he has helped the greatest medical scientists in the world improve their work through his inventions. He's been at Stanford for several decades, and he has written 300 science technical papers helping people with genetic diseases, genetic deformities, things like that. And he has just been an absolute leader in the field. And
what has he stated publicly, or what has he published related to these UAP?
Yeah, he says the UAPs they're here. Yeah,
So-
he joked on the UAP and he said, I have part of their craft and I'm
Has
analyzing.
he published, or he's been public about
He-
this in some way?
Yes, and he has started the Soul Foundation, SOL Foundation, where only the most serious top scientists get together in all fields, and they are exploring in a serious manner the UAP issues, and they're taking the stigma away. Now that Sheehan has presented a bill, it has passed in the government that whistleblowers cannot be persecuted. They cannot lose their jobs anymore. They cannot be mocked. They cannot be threatened. He's protecting the whistleblowers. He said they have a right to share this knowledge, and he won. So Gary has now come out also, and he has said we are exploring. And then David Grush did a congressional hearing last year, and I have yet to hear that. I've got to listen to that, where he testified to Congress that we not only have alien craft at, I believe he said, at Area 51. The government has been lying all these years. There are alien craft there, but that we have alien bodies, and we're dissecting some of them. And one of them is alive, and we are seeking to communicate with him.
So anyhow, so Carrie did a response video that includes Professor Nolan. And
Yeah.
I'll include it in the description. And how many episodes have you done since
Going
then?
to hell. We're all going to hell.
Yeah.
Well,
What's that, Debbie?
I said we're all going to hell. Oh my God.
so real quick,
It's bizarre.
I would like to get Tim's.
Yes.
I'd like to get Tim's response, because I was trying to have a conversation with him yesterday, and we were
Just sounds
briefly
awful.
talking about
Hell.
how the topic of consciousness is in the public eye now, and I've been paying attention to all of the dialogue from the experts, the physicists, the biology, all these people talking about consciousness. There's all kinds of books about it, and how that relates to this UAP stuff. So Tim, why don't you give us your perspective?
Well, I've been listening to Cliff High, CLIFHIGH.
That's a rabbit hole.
And Cliff's view is that we got it wrong with Descartes when the Cartesian model of science, where they ignore consciousness, is incorrect.
Yes.
That consciousness creates grit. Grit does not create consciousness.
Yeah.
And
Fascinating.
Cliff just did another one today. I listened to him today.
Me too.
Yeah, it's bad.
Crazy shit, man. Sorry.
This is what I'm getting from Cliff, is that Elohim, Jehovah, all these gods are aliens, are Anunnakis,
Mm-hmm.
and that they're going to come back. That thousands of years ago, they came here and they created man. And they lived in these bubbles where they lived for thousands of years. And they brought men in and they did experiments on them and genetic engineering. And it took them so many years to create a man and so many years to create a woman. Who knows what they were starting with. And then they tied them to these machines that are minds. They couldn't work the machines, but our minds could. Basically, we're slaves to them. And then we revolted, and that's the Tower of Babel story. And there's what he calls the Elohim worship cult. And it goes back to the creation of Judaism and Christianity. There was a group of rabbis back in the 200 or 300 when Charlemagne held the Nicene Council, is they brought like 2,000 or 3,000 Christian cults together trying to figure out what they were going to put in the Bible. The Bible wasn't just put together like we have it today. It took hundreds of years for the stories to get together. And they voted what they were going to put in and take out.
You mean the Roman Emperor Constantine, not
Roman
Charlemagne.
Emperor Constantine, yes.
Yeah.
And whoever they didn't agree with, they killed. They killed these preachers off. If they didn't agree, if they didn't get in line with them, they killed them. They
What if you
poisoned
had a poster that said, "I want to believe"?
them. I don't. Danny Sheehan talks about this also. So I know
He
I
does.
listen to Danny Sheehan.
He does. He really does. No
And I
joke.
went, okay.
Let's ask
So-
Debbie what she thinks about UAPs.
Can I
and
go
some of the
on?
stuff
Let
that
me-
carries. Okay, go ahead. Finish that, and then
Let me-
we'll go
No.
to Debbie.
Let me go on.
Yeah.
Okay. And so rabbis, there's a council of rabbis, the Pharisees, who basically rule the world. And there's also this other guy, something Maxwell, Jordan Maxwell. You got to listen to him too. And so there's this group of rabbis that basically run the world, and the Jews are in charge, and they basically tell the Catholics what to do and everybody else, and they're controlling everything. And they haven't, and then what Cliff High calls it is an Elohim denial cult, that they deny that these guys were space aliens and they want to accept them as gods. And he talks about these secret societies that's a cult, anything like Masonry, Mormonism, Judaism, Catholicism, anything with rituals is a cult. And it's to
I
control
feel
your
like
mind.
everyone else.
What
in
about
this
Latter
room
Daily
is like
Digestism?
just going, oh my god, like what
I'm
the
ju-
fuck are we believing in? like literally on any
Right?
level. Like it was like I was Catholic, I was like Jew, I was like Mormon,
You're
I
in
was
it all.
Muslim. Like we're just all going.
Do you want the
Well-
red pill or the blue pill, Debbie?
This is the
Or the
intracult
wafer.
discussion.
So,
We're in the foyer. They're having
Well-
sacrament meeting in the
So actually,
chapel.
we have in
I
our
know
group
it's-
here Rob
I know
Tobler
it
that,
sounds
that would,
I know it
would
sounds
recognize
crazy.
a radar signature from a UAP, I bet, if you ever saw one, right?
I do work in the aviation field, and I've not seen one, but I would be interested in seeing one. Yeah.
Me too.
Well, I think I
So
want like a red pill and a blue pill and a Tylenol and like something else. Like mom in heaven. Oh, let's not talk about that. Okay. Okay.
Now the
Yeah.
crazy thing
So-
is, if I can interject just briefly,
okay.
Please.
Chris Bledsoe
Please.
does say the main alien who visits him is Sacred Lady. I'm just saying,
Is what?
the Sacred Lady,
Okay.
the most important being, is a woman. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Okay, Tim.
So if Cliff High is right, and I'm not sure if I understand his whole worldview, but I'm doing my best to explain it from what I've gleaned listening to him.
You can't explain it.
But these aliens are going to show up. They're on their way back.
No, they're here.
Well,
God
but I
damn
mean,
it.
I mean, more of them are going to come, like in battle size ship UFOs. And I've seen videos, and I shared them with some of you of this one big one that looks like looks like an Imperial cruiser with 4 flying saucers flying around it through the sky. These guys are saying, "What the hell is that?" And,
Yeah.
you know, and every day there's more and more.
50,000 a year. 50,000 a year is what Richard Dolan says.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
So
So how
And-
many weeks do I have left before to max out my credit cards?
Give me a couple.
well,
Remember, the Jews have to rebuild the temple first.
we could.
To me, the aliens have been a lot like Jesus. Everybody's expecting him to come for dinner, and he just doesn't show up year after year after year. So
I so
Right.
resonate with that. I so
Well,
resonate.
Cliff thinks they're going to be here by April or May.
okay, so what if June comes around and they're not here? Are you going to believe anything Cliff says again?
Yes, because he's right.
Or
he's
are you
right
going to
some of
say,
the time.
oh, they double crossed them, those aliens, just like aliens, right?
Well, for what it's worth, I've heard from both the Christian and the Jewish YouTube channels that even the Jews are getting nervous, as well as the Navajo now.
Really?
They're saying,
BYP?
yes,
Really?
yes. They call them the
Yes.
Katina, the star people. Yes.
Yes, they're
And the blue
Katinas.
Katina, when the blue star comes, watch out.
Yep.
You're close. But they're all saying now, I've heard anywhere from the range of 2026 to 2034. So you guys, that's within our lifetimes. Really?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it, if after 2034, that's it, I'm grabbing the mushrooms, I'm grabbing the beer, and I'm partying.
Diamond Dave, do you
I'll
have
come
a thought
over and
about
drink it with you.
UAPs?
Okay. We'll get together and do a live session brouhaha.
Yeah. So
Let's get Diamond Dave's feedback.
On what? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
UAPs,
about
UFOs,
that was really
or-
what?
or BYPs. What do you think about BYPs? I've seen those
Oh,
flying
let's talk
around.
UFOs.
I've never heard of that. But I don't know. I mean, it's not
This
out
is
of
we're like asking our son, do you want to believe in your dad's like mystical world of yumminess? Like, how many times have we asked you? Like, I feel like Diamond Dave, we kind of like throw the alien vibe on you. Like, it's like,
Diamond,
I
do
mean-
you have a pulse on the younger generation, what they think about
like on UFOs and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's kind of what I mentioned last time, I think. Where either A, people just are like, yeah, duh, it's there. I have bills to pay. Or B, they just don't maybe care. Because we didn't grow up in the generation where it was taboo, and we didn't grow up in where the government was trying to shut everyone down. I grew up watching Star Trek. Everyone talked about aliens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up watching Star Wars. Everyone talked about aliens and like space battles. So now I think it's some of it could be like desensitization too, because like it's in video games, it's in movies, it's everywhere. And so for us, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I mean, they're a thing, you know. But I mean, I come from a Hindu background, so I mean, there's elements of like UFOs and aliens and stuff if you interpret that
the
through
Bhagavad Gita?
Well, there's the Bhagavad Gita, there's the
Arjuna.
epic of the Ramayana, there's the overall battle between the Devas and the Asuras.
right.
You know, there's even a place in India, and I forget the name of it, but me and my roommate were talking about it, where in mythology of that area, allegedly there was a battle of two cities in the sky, and that area is just glass. And if you were to go there, it's basically the equivalent of the ground being hit by a nuclear explosion, except this is like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago when nobody had nukes. So there's also a guy I'm kind of following. I haven't had time, and I probably should, but he's I can't remember what he's on, if he's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, but he's a legitimate scientist, and he goes to like the Mayan and Incan like pyramids and the Egyptian pyramids, and he's basically building an archaeological case that ancient humans were way more advanced than they thought they were, but there was a global. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, I think it's Graham Hancock.
This is the guy. I think he was on Lex Friedman.
Mohenjo is the name of the place in India.
Okay, yeah, but
Graham Hancock's the one who talked about Göbekli Tepe, and they just did a thing with him and Keanu Reeves. The apocalypse is now down in the Chaco Canyon, and they kicked him out because of what they were saying about, because the Indians, the Native Americans want to say we were here first, and Graham Hancock saying no, there were people long before you here in this area.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he goes around and basically says there's some global cataclysm that reduced humanity back to square one.
That's Hancock.
And then
I
he
can.
argues that if we're not careful, nuclear war, like in the Fallout video game series, if there's a global nuclear war, that will set us back again to the exact same point.
It
Exactly.
will too. Yeah.
So
Interesting. Yeah, that description of you, younger generation, that is well understood by the by the folks who want disclosure, because there is a gap. We were raised with the taboo. Don't even bring up the 3-letter word. You know, you can use the F word safer than the UFO word.
yeah.
Now that you haven't had those stigmas,
Do not say the F word back here, Professor. Please, please.
And I think a lot of it too is Western. A
you
lot of it
want
is
me to
Western.
say it?
No, we got to be careful because we'll get strikes.
Yeah, we
Right,
don't
I
want
want to keep my
You
$1.47.
have to be
I
careful.
want to
The
be
first 7
monetized.
minutes,
to.
you got to be
We've got to
careful.
keep. We've got to keep this fun.
Family.
F word.
Yes.
He
And
can
I
say
will
fire truck and we'll all know what he means.
Come on over to my panel after
We
this.
can
I'll
swear
say
in
it.
another language though. Like I can say married and
I don't
scheisse
think
and
so. That
frickin'.
word sounds similar in a lot of the
Yeah.
languages. Say it.
Yeah.
I've
I
studied.
will
I did a history project on the F word, so it's weird.
I will say too, I think a lot of it's Western, because like in Western
It is.
cultures in America, especially in America, I remember reading in stuff like Roswell, or even in England, where a bunch of school children saw UFOs go overhead. They had SAS, MI6, they shut that down. But you go to like India or the Philippines or Peru, and it's like it's in the temples. It's like people talk about it. It's just like what we're talking about now, and like nobody, like the government just doesn't care.
No, the government
they
doesn't
don't-
care very much. They don't want us to care. They
Well,
the government.
the international governments don't.
yeah.
So like the Indian government isn't going to be like the U.S. government, where if we're in India and we're talking about aliens, no one's going to run with guns and try and get us to shut up. Is kind of
Right.
Well, let's go to India then, for Pete's
Yeah.
sake.
The United States government wants to be the arbiter of the truth of UFOs and UAPs.
Well,
They
the
wanna
U.S.
hide
government
it.
wants to be the arbiter of everything. So I
Right,
mean, that's not
exactly.
surprising.
They're gonna make it because Mormonism's going to overtake them.
This is why I support BRICS. Okay, this is why I'm
That
a
sounds
huge
vaguely
BRICS
familiar.
supporter.
So, Bob Jones, Brother Jones, we haven't heard your ideas. Would you like to speak
About
up?
the
Yeah.
UAP stuff?
Yeah,
UAP?
UAP stuff. Yeah.
First of all, UAP is a new term for me as of like maybe a week ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
I think I'm open to all of this stuff because of my interest in understanding what consciousness is. And when I went through the change, so to speak, I do still think there is a possibility that humanity is all connected to some higher consciousness of some kind, whatever you want to call that. And in fact, I live in Asia. I live in Thailand, and Diamond Dave's talking about Hinduism, and that's all in the water here.
Yeah, Buddhism. Yep.
Yeah, and I used to think that reincarnation and all the cycles of life and all that was I used to think linear like a Western person, and as the more I learned about the Eastern philosophies, honestly, the more sense they make to me. And I think there is something to the idea that we're all we're all expressions of consciousness of some kind.
exactly.
Alan Watts talks about this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay. And I've listened to him in a lot of different things, and so I think there's something to it. And if there's a relationship between that and what's going on with these UAPs, unidentified
aerial phenomenon.
anomaly phenomenon, or anomalous
Aerial.
phenomenon, that there's a new physics to be learned.
Exactly.
And that's that's the part of this that interests me.
And according to Cliff, that interview Friday with Rogan and Trump will be the beginning of sci-fi world, where new things are going to come out, like
That
the
just
0
happened.
point energy. And it just happened. And I watched the whole interview Friday night. I watched the whole thing.
Did too, yeah.
And there was nothing really spectacular about it.
No. They remote
Right.
viewed. They remote viewed. Saw that in 2000.
2009, and then again in 19.
Crazy.
They remote viewed that Trump was going to go on the talk
Yes,
show.
it came up in
And
it
he was
came up
going to talk about UFOs.
in
That-
Cliff's
it was
data in 2009. It came up in Cliff's data,
Yeah.
and then he had the remote viewing group remote view it then, and then again in 19, and they
Yeah.
do a picture.
Yeah,
In
they do.
2009, nobody knew what a podcast was.
No.
So
Yeah.
they couldn't figure out what it was. And then they did it in 2019. And, oh, this is a podcast.
I think the iPods came out in 2004, and they were making podcasts back then. But maybe
What
and even
concerns
YouTube,
me,
I think, was 2008. So
what
I mean, you could
concerns
say
me
something
about
like that and make it
remote-
sound more woo.
So let me
It's
Tim,
still
let me have you resolve my concern. Here, resolve my concern, Tim. Remote viewing. How is this replicatable by more people? That's what science is all about. You discover something, it can be replicated by anybody.
Oh, well, they in the future forecasting group, they have 6 or 7 guys, and they give them the target, and they all come up with the same thing.
What do you mean?
Different
Give them
versions.
a target.
They give them a target. It's a letter. It's numbers and letters.
I'll
They
have
give 'em a
yeah,
target.
you mentioned that. I'll have to go learn about that group and all that, because anybody selling me some special juice that's going to solve all my health problems,
Well,
I'm always a little worried about it.
Well,
I'm skeptical.
here's the interesting thing. One of the upcoming and interpretations of how these craft are flying, they can drop from 80,000 feet down to 1 foot above water in 0.7 of a second. And then they can go underwater and travel twice as fast as the fastest nuclear submarine. The G-force of that would turn us into jello. Nobody could.
I
But
watched this.
concerned. They're saying now, those who have seen the craft, don't quote me on that, but they're saying now one of the ideas is the beings are flying these with consciousnness. There's no wings, there's no heat trail, there's no exhaust, there's no direction. They just they bounce around like a ping pong ball.
So
Definitely
I got
sounds
to
like Toro.
So I was going to say, to answer B. Jones' question, how is it replicatable among more people? The theory I have heard is that people who can remote view can use more than 10% of their brain. Now, if that is true, and we could find a universally approachable way to get more people to use more than 10% of their brain, hypothetically, assuming, point A is true, hypothetically, more people could remote view.
And stop voting for both Republicans and Democrats, too.
Yeah, so this, for me, the hook, the interesting part of this is how all of this relates to the discussions around consciousness and understanding consciousness and sort of new physics, the God particle, whatever you want to call it. That's what's interesting to me, and is causing me to pay more attention to it rather than just disregard this at face, disregard it entirely.
A lot of it gets into quantum mechanics. If I tell you to envision a pink unicorn, that pink unicorn exists, even though it's not a physical thing. So with that being said, the consciousness thing, regardless of what religion you fall under, technically, according to quantum mechanics, all of them can be true simultaneously because they exist as a form of a concept, and they're fueled by the consciousness itself.
Okay, to help
Okay, good. Here we go.
I got my
Brother
study
Jones,
box.
yeah, to help Brother Jones, I am just now beginning to seriously study this consciousness idea. Now, I'm going to destroy my reputation right here tonight.
Oh, I
So-
did that when I hung out with Ward Radio and came over here, so you're good.
There are. I'm just going to give you these three. For now, I've got 33, but we don't need all that shit. Okay. Nadow and Kafkatos. Oh, that's Oxford. They are serious scientists. They are the real deal. They are on the level of Einstein, sincerely. It's called the non-local universe.
So,
And
hey, I just thought of something. According to what Diamond Dave said, if I envision myself having $1 million in my bank account, only a pink unicorn can access those funds. That somebody else was thinking about.
I'm gonna
Right?
turn
That
it
is-
pink unicorn.
Okay.
But this one is by Oxford University Press. The other one that both of these gentlemen have written, and this is the one that's mind-boggling. The Conscious Universe. It's about the part and whole in modern physical theory. And it's a thin book, but it's super heavy. It's heavy reading, but this one will, wow. It's, if Cliff High, when I get a hold of Cliff High and get him on my program, I'm going to ask him if he's read this. And if he hasn't, I'm going to castigate him. He has to. And then this one. The Self-Aware Universe. This man is a PhD Indian gentleman, Amit Goswami, and he is on YouTube. He's been on YouTube, and this one is utterly delightful. How consciousness creates the material world. And the other one is, and I don't know who this gentleman is. I'll have to look him up. James Gardner, The Intelligent Universe. Now, when he says the intelligent universe, he's serious. It's all consciousness. And it's consciousness that is making the grid, just like Cliff High says. So there are scientists who have broached this subject. Now, last 10 years ago or so, I read this one, The Self-Aware Universe, How Consciousness Creates the Material World. And I started talking about this. They chopped my head off. They crucified me. Nobody liked it. They said I was into woo-woo. They said this is pure unadulterated BS. They said, shirts, use your brain for once. Quit falling for the goofy stuff. But now,
were you wearing your tinfoil hat while you were?
I left the foil out and just went to tin.
Tim
So
Foyle.
I was a tin man. but this is truly get ready to go down a rabbit hole. This is something else. Now, here's the thing. And then I'll shut up. We know the universe is intelligent because here we are. And
That's
we're
right.
intelligent. We are the star stuff, you guys. I'm not, that's not even a metaphor.
We're made out of that stuff.
That's literal. So
Literal.
the universe can see. Here it is. We're the eyes. The universe can talk. The universe can think. So now the UAP phenomena has come forward, and they're saying there's hundreds of billions of Earths with intelligent life. So the universe is conscious. I'm just saying. That's it. We know fundamentally that the universe can see, smell, hear, taste, and talk, and have sex, because we are part of that. So
The
we know.
universe.
Yeah. So anyway, he just takes it on the cosmological scale. And this one, oh crap. That's the scientific approach. So anyway, just to share, you've got some good resources. Every one of them are PhDs. They're not woo-woo dinglings like the
Yeah.
BYP is.
Yeah, that's sort of my. I think we've all decided to be skeptical, especially of people who claim authority in various things, and so we are much more likely to study ourselves, draw from lots of resources, and come to our own conclusions now. Which, I mean, there are certainly some voices out there that I will pay attention to if they start speaking more about this thing. But because the whole issue of consciousness, I mean, even the experts, they can't clearly explain what it is yet. What really is consciousness? So,
True.
You
Anyway,
have
it's,
to go to an appointment.
We haven't heard
I'll
from.
be leaving just a few minutes. But
Oh,
here's another thing that related to this I find interesting is that there's been, with the rise of the technology, and now we've got the whole AI thing and this discussion about AGI and all this. These are clearly the key topics of our day, right? This is what the world is paying attention to now, and through all of that attention paying, what's going to come of that? It's definitely interesting, and I'll be paying attention.
yeah.
Yeah. We all should
So,
be
Rob,
paying
we
more
haven't
attention.
heard from you and your idea.
Yes, thank you. I would like to
Hey,
offer.
Richard's comment down, would you, Gene? I want to look at Rob. Hi, Richard. By the way,
I would like to offer the Latter-day
Rob.
Saint perspective,
I
Okay.
love it.
followed by the Exmo perspective on the UFO
Ooh,
phenomenon.
nice. I'm going to take notes.
Okay, here we go. Last year in the Salt Lake Tribune, there was an article written by a professor from Claremont University named Howard Hunter. He's the chair of Mormon Studies there. He's also the author of the book, The Alien Abduction of Betty and Barney Hill, Alien Encounters, Civil Rights in the New Age in America. And he talks about how the concept of aliens and UFOs is in alignment and supportive of LDS theology.
Right.
We believe in interplanetary conversations, visitors from other planets, intelligences dotting and filling the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's interesting. In the article, he also explains that there are two hypotheses about this phenomenon. One is the extraterrestrial hypothesis, where creatures have come, or whatever beings have come from beyond to visit us. They've traveled the distance. Or there's the interdimensional hypothesis, which is where they're moving between dimensions that we don't quite understand. That's why they pop up at 40,000 feet and then they're down at the hard deck.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, Carrie, what do you think are we dealing with here? People beings that have traveled here, or that are just popping in through dimensions? And also a follow-up question is, why aren't we having not only aerial phenomenon, but ocean phenomenon and soil phenomenon, where we're finding evidences in the dirt, in the water?
We do have
Great question.
ocean phenomenon.
Yeah, we do. The other hypothesis is that they are from here. They've just been here a lot longer than we have. We're the newer species. They're the aerial ones. Just for what it's worth, myself personally, my bias, and again, this gets into science fiction because we don't know, and so we have to postulate. But we've had long enough to kind of tinker, meddle with Einstein's theories and his mathematical equations of E equals mc squared and all that noise, based with the Lorentz transformation. You take a pen, you move it halfway to the speed of light in whatever direction, and the pen shrinks. That's called the Lorentz transformation. But it also gets heavier. And if you get to 99% of the speed of light, the only part you're going to see is this very end part. The rest of it is going to be bunched up there, and it's going to be trillions of tons in weight. That's why you can't go the speed of light, because
I must be starting to get to the speed of light.
at light,
It's a little heavy.
an infinite amount of matter
Mass.
and mass, and
Yeah.
there's not infinite mass, so speed of light's impossible. So that's one of the objections. They say, well, they couldn't have come from outer space. However, there is now a physics being worked out that, and are you sitting down? I've said for years these science fiction movies are not made in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
They're preparing us for something. E.T. was not made in a vacuum. Well, now I just saw a UAP scientist say the same damn thing.
Yeah.
We are being prepared. Here's the thing. We're learning that we can fold space, just like Dune commented on. So that if you're 10 light years away and you fold that space so that you're only 3 feet away, you look like you're going from 80,000 feet to 1 foot in 7/10 of a second.
I tried to fold space, but it just was all
Same,
up in the corner of my room.
I can't comprehend it, but they are working on that physics. Not that we've accomplished it, but it's possible now because we're trying to think outside the box, away from grit, more to consciousness. So my
Energy,
personal bias is that they are extraterrestrial. I think that would be so cool. But
Now-
I don't.
But they
I
have
would-
a base in Antarctica.
Pardon?
They have a base in Antarctica.
They
Something's
also
going
have a
on in
base off of Guadalupe down in the Baja Peninsula. They
Yeah.
also have a base. Guess where else the aliens
on the
are?
moon.
No, and guess where else? Here on Earth. And the military is keeping eyes on them, and they have it all. The Sedona.
They're going to say
Sedona.
50 West Temple.
Well, there too. They're aliens.
I personally lean more toward the interdimensional theory, and because from what I have seen and what I have read is they really, like, they've always been showing up, right? But they started showing up en masse and interfering with nuclear bases and missiles after we nuked after we nuked Japan twice, after we did the testing. And the theory that I heard is that, like you were saying, because you fold space, that would fold dimensions, right? Well, a nuclear blast ionizes the particles in the air and fundamentally rips the air to shreds.
Rips
So
the fabric
in-
of space. Is what it
Yeah,
does.
so
Interesting.
according to what I read, the reason why they started showing up in mass and starting messing with military equipment to shut it down is a warning that what we were doing was also affecting them somehow.
I've heard
Yes.
that too. Fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah. And we don't know, but all three theories are exquisitely fantastic.
And they could all be possible.
And they can all be possible. Hey,
Simultaneously.
there are some saying there's 5 different species of aliens. Now I've just seen a new website talking about, or a YouTube channel talking about 86.
There's
Yeah.
more. There's more.
There's got to be more if they're out there in the. But yeah, my bias is the interstellar, but I'm open to anything, including the fact that we are deceived.
Debbie's just losing her mind.
Debbie, what's going on?
I'm kind of mind blown. Like you're like the boys and the boys. You're like, anything's possible, and I'm like, yes, anything's possible. And we just came out of a religion mindset that we like are decompressing, where it's like anything's possible. Like, come on, take me
And now we're
away.
doing the same
No,
thing.
and now I'm kind of like, oh my god, I don't want to get into another like, I don't want to be a Scientologist.
I so hear you.
No.
I still practice Hindu
You're-
tradition, so
You're
I
going to
haven't
be a
left anything.
UFologist, not a Scientologist. It's
We
a
can
UFO.
leave that out of this without bringing any of that in.
But you know what it means, like
I
when
know.
you're like,
I know, Debbie.
Yep.
I know,
And the
Debbie.
bottom line is, all right, show us the gold plates. All right,
Exactly.
but show us the UFO.
But actually,
There you have it.
going on to what Debbie was saying about, not sort of
Look at Debbie.
agreeing with anything that anybody
Right.
says. I
I'm
have
trying
posted-
to bring it back in.
I posted in the chat. There's a guy named Mick West that does videos where he shows alternate explanations for the Tic Tac or the gimbal.
Yes, I've seen
or
those.
things. And so that is information that's out there as well.
Yes.
My son favors that type of information.
Uh-huh.
Well, some are man-made, though. We have duplicated them.
Yes.
We have duplicated them.
There are some. Yeah.
I know somebody told me this years ago when I was at Lockheed. Okay, but we have duplicated.
You were at Lockheed?
Yeah,
you were
we're
at
from
Lockheed?
Lockheed.
Did you
Yeah.
sign a do not disclosure statement?
No.
Well, then shut up and start talking.
BYP, that's what we call it, Tim. Tim is like literally like a little naughty boy.
First of all, I want to thank Conan for the $30.
Oh,
That's
that's
right.
very nice. Good job, Conan.
Thank you, Conan.
I'm going to make sure Tim gets it when Brother Jones comes here to America from Thailand, and we're going to pick up Tim.
We're going to
We're
go
gonna
to
take him
Thrive
to
and
Thrive
we're
St.
planning on
George.
being at Thrive in March. Okay,
Nice.
so we'll use it then. Okay, all the proceeds will go towards Thrive. All
That's
right.
right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you were at Lockheed Martin.
No, it was just
was.
Lockheed then.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, let me share with you some things
Tim.
that when Bob Lazar went on Coast to Coast, it was a weekend. And this guy and I, his name was Dick Ertman, and Dick had worked for Lockheed for 20 or 30 years by that point. I think it was 20. And we talked about this. And Monday morning, I walked into his office and I closed the door. And he looked at me and he says, "Yes, it's all true." And I said, "How did you know what I was going to ask?" He says, "Well, it's pretty obvious." Because he had been to Area 51. And he had hinted at some things. And from that day forward, and that was, 87, 88, I've never doubted their existence. Plus, I've seen them. My father and I were flying one time.
Really?
And we saw this orb saucer-shaped thing. We were flying. And this thing appeared and flew across the front of our airplane and disappeared. And I looked at my dad and I said, "Did you just see what I just saw?" So we saw it at the same time. And that was, I think, in the 70s when that happened. Yeah, I think it was in Colorado. We were flying in Colorado.
Never seen anything yet. I've had OBEs, but I never have seen a UAP that I'm aware of.
Well, see, I have, like we talk about remote viewing, I've seen things before they happen.
That's
And-
me. I'm just saying.
Something's going on that we can't explain. That the only way that I can figure it out is this consciousness thing. Like, in the church we talk about priesthood and blessings. I've given people blessings and they worked. But then again, I don't give how they make you memorize those blessings,
Sure.
and
Oh,
I never followed the manual.
you've got a deal, Conan. I'm
What
warning
did he
you, I'm a pig.
Okay, all right. So, but I've had these experiences. I've seen things. I've seen beings at times in trees and all around me. So I know that something out there. There's more than we can see or experience. But we do experience it. I only catch glimpses of it.
Rob, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I'd like to give the Exmo perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Having felt like I was duped, like I was deceived, and trying to embrace critical thinking and science. Being persuaded by books like Demon Haunted World by Carl Sagan.
Carl
Yeah.
Sagan.
I'm inclined not to believe, but I always want to keep learning, but I'm trying to embrace uncertainty and not get too certain about anything. But my one question is, when they do show up and they make themselves known, will they be asking for my wife or my money or both?
I'm gonna.
That's what I'm leery of.
If I run,
That's right. It's the real cult.
yeah.
All
If
the
I run-
above, sir.
into one of them, I'm gonna ask them, hey, do any of you guys know a dude named Enoch?
Yes,
My-
yes.
If they ask you for your mother or your daughter, pull a gun and pull the trigger.
Pull again.
Yeah.
Me and my mom don't get along, so that's fine. Get her out of the picture.
They can
That's
have
fine
her,
with
huh?
me. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine with me. But all joking aside, my personal approach, and this is why, like just because of my way of life, like I wasn't like most members of the church where there was a full belief in faith. It was more of the kind of Hindu approach, right? Because Hinduism is a conglomerate of different beliefs that are piled on top of each other, right? And different
That's all
interpretations.
Christianity is.
Well, yeah, and what I ended up doing was
That's what
trying
Carrie
to-
Shirts is.
That's
Yep.
what Mormonism is.
and I tried to pile on, the LDS theology on top of that, and it just didn't work. And so I'm like, okay, I can't reconcile this. I'm just going to go back and live my life, right? And so my approach has always been to just accept the fact that nothing needs an explanation. And that's kind of more of an Eastern thing, where it's nice to have an explanation, and we should always keep searching for answers. But at the same time, I accept that there will be so many things on this earth I will never understand. And so I find it's much easier just to start as accepting that not everything requires an explanation for it to exist, and just take things as they are. That it just becomes that much more easier. And that's why I was able to, like, I don't know what it's called, go inactive, leave, stop going, whatever you want to call it, just because, thing A works, thing B does not work, accept it, move on.
Just remember, the true Tao that can be described is not the true Tao.
Right.
It doesn't need an explanation.
No.
Isn't the same thing where who's the monk, the most popular monk of all monks?
Chipmunk.
Buddha.
No. Like if you meet the Buddha, the new Buddha or whatever it is,
Kill him
you're supposed to kill him, right?
on the road. Yeah, that was a good book.
Yeah. Or like a guru who says he's a guru is not a guru.
Run like crazy. Run.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what he looks like.
But yeah, that's just personally how I approach things, and like things with like I even make a joke about it, because a lot of people I've seen in the church, out of the church, who have never been in the church at all, they can get overwhelmed by politics and by UAPs and things that we're talking about. Whereas I kind of make a joke out of it, where it's like, hey, if the aliens start landing and they start shooting everything, I'm going to be a toilet skeleton in Fallout 4. Here we go. I'm excited. Like, I'm just going to be that skeleton. Some scavenger opens the bathroom door, and there's me with a party hat on, surrounded by drugs and garden gnomes. No idea, no context. You just find my skeleton.
Oh, wait.
That's how I'm going out.
The garden gnomes are the short 3-foot UAPs. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the mannequins,
there you
that
go.
too.
Yeah.
The mannequins. Yeah, I'm just gonna be surrounded by a bunch of crap with a party hat on. That's gonna be my skeleton, like the guy jerking off in Pompeii that they found. That's gonna be me, dude. That's how I'm going out.
Dude,
I do not.
That is gonna be you, because I literally was working a party where it was all of them, and they were going to be them, and they were going to be you. Like,
How wild is that?
Pretty wild. This whole conversation is illegal. We've got to just stop the tape now.
They're going to shut this down.
They're going to shut us down. They're coming after us now.
Well, according
Yeah,
to according to what's his name? Stephen Greer, they know and see everything that we're doing, no matter what.
Well, they're tapped into the ultimate consciousness, which is what we are part of. So that's how they read our minds. But I've got to reiterate what Rob said too earlier from the Exmo side. This is part of the tension in me right now, because I was not a critical believer within Mormonism, but I actually believed I was, because I was studying the scripture more in depth than my fellow Mormons, and so I was being more critically accurate, right? That's the delusion of ego. And then I ended up falling out of belief with it, and I went full-blown atheist. And they go just rock solid grit, no pun intended. It's all grit. And then I learned how to critically think and examine the Mormonism faith. And now I'm at least enjoying this UAP subject, and I'm back to faith. What the heck?
Well,
I
don't think
you heard it here, folks.
Well, and I mean, there's different kinds of faith, because I mean, we have faith in people, we have faith in people's skill sets, and I, in my opinion, I think the term faith has been kind of bastardized, because it's like, I have faith that when I come on here, we're all going to have a good time and we're all going to be respectful and things like that. For the most part.
Diamond Dave,
You know,
you're
so
too
it's like-
young. Get the fuck off.
Wow.
Find me, Diamond.
That was like,
Debbie,
I'm
appreciate
I'm
it.
like, oh, your
if the
mother
definition
never
of-
made you go outside for 10 hours straight.
He's going to quit hanging out with
The
all
definition of faith. If the
Don't get me
definition of
started
faith
on my
is to
family.
believe
I
in the
don't-
unbelievable,
I
then
don't
that's
really
not a good
talk to
faith.
either of my parents, but yeah, I mean, there's different kinds of faith. But to reiterate what Carrie said about this discussion being illegal, I just want to say real quick for the FBI and SCMC agents that are watching, if you could like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as subscribe for $10 a month, that would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And then go
Okay.
to mine, because I'm going to expose your
Yes.
sorry butt.
Diamond Dave, I'm agreeing with you 100% on that. Like, please, if I'm on someone's watch list,
I was on the church's watch
What
list for a long time.
I won't believe the SMC exists unless I get to 10,000 subscribers. Then
Yeah.
it has to be all SMC. That's the answer.
Gee.
Carrie, no, just do it,
Put
Mr.
up
Beast.
Richard's comment. I don't have faith in faith. That's good.
That was a good comment. I liked it. Just
a good comment.
Carrie, you should turn this into a Mr. Beast video. I will take this video down if the SCMC or FBI gives me 1 million views. People have done that. I think Mr. Beast done
All
that.
right, Carrie.
Dog's doing that. Like,
You
there
know,
we go.
baby,
Like-
you give me 1 million subscribers and $2 million SCMC, and I'll never say a bad word.
Whoever, I don't know, whatever acronym, whatever.
I want a
acronym.
billion.
Yeah, let's go big or go home. I want
I
a
want a
billion.
billion.
You'll make it back in a week, so don't bitch at me. Mormonism.
But
But I like.
you guys are all like wannabe Eagle Scout, Boy Scouts. Like this one time.
No, I
at
never
that
wanted to be an Eagle
time,
Scout.
I was like,
Oh no.
But
I
well,
don't
I'm
even
sorry,
know what
I'm
an
just a
Eagle
woman
Scout
in the
does.
group, and I'm like, I'm not going to get any accolades either way. You could win that
Sure
whole.
you are.
Sure you are.
Sure you are. The most important alien out there is the woman from
That's right.
Christian. Oh,
Mhm.
She's the
absolutely.
creator. She's the mother. We can't. We
Well,
all
at
came
least-
out of her.
She's a mother, all right. Oh,
We all came out of her, right?
yeah, absolutely. There you go, Deb. Yes, you're welcome.
I know. Can you tell my sons that in a letter? Like,
No,
Sure.
no,
You bet.
don't let that go up
Yes.
in the door. No, sons
for
won't.
John.
You have a joke, Rob? Or
I do
comment?
have a joke. I was gonna, we could resolve this whole alien question if we could just talk to Joseph Smith. I mean, Carrie said that he was made of the stars. We're made of the stars, but
Mhm.
Joseph Smith was a superstar. And I'm channeling a vision from him right now. Hold on, wait a minute. Here it comes. He's showing me the future. In the future, the aliens will come in peace. They will speak English, and world leaders will gather together to greet them and ask questions. Oh, wait a minute. First, the Pope is stepping forward, and he's asking the aliens, do you know our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? And they respond, you mean JC? Yeah, he's great. He's the best. He comes by every year and visits just to check on us. And the Pope says, what? Every year? We've been waiting 2,000 years for him to visit. And the alien says, well, it must be our chocolates. And the Pope says, what are you talking about, your chocolates? He says, well, the first time he came to visit, we gave him chocolates. What did you guys do the first time he came to visit?
I thought that joke was going to be completely different. I thought it was going to go, oh, JC, yeah, he's standing right over there. Dude, come here.
Oh, you got wrong.
I thought it was going to go that route. It's like, JC, yeah, that's my cousin. He's actually powering down the ship right now. He's actually a farmer, but yeah, I mean,
You win the internet, Rob. That was fabulous.
that was great.
Thank you.
Very good.
That's why
That's
we
right,
all keep having to get back
Top
together.
law. Top
Rob.
law.
Honey is better than vinegar when trying to catch flies, right? Or,
That's
or
right.
church members,
There you
or
go.
JC.
True.
Or JC.
True.
But I
Well,
like
Tim,
what-
do you have any more secrets to tell us?
Tim is loaded with secrets. Are you kidding me? That man is walking
Tim
with-
is like,
I'm pretty sure there's some
you know what the
secrets in his
best thing
beard.
was? Okay, let's just remind everyone. Tim gave his like temple recommend, to a
recommend.
friend who then went in and then like recorded it.
the night
like, Tim
after
is the-
April night. Let's give it the proper chronology. The changes were made in April 1990.
Yes.
I sent my recommend back to my friend who went to the Washington, D.C. temple, taped it, typed it up between the pre-1990, April 1990 and post-1990, typed it up and sent it to the tanners.
What?
And send it to the Tanners,
You
okay?
got-
This is the
That's a
OG
while,
of the
man.
OG. Like, if you wanted to be a bad boy for life.
Holy cow. Tim, I didn't
We're
realize.
not worthy. We're not worthy.
We're not worthy.
Tim was the original new
Is
name
this
Noah.
real life?
And that is my new name.
That is
My new name is Noah. It really is.
Wow.
Full
Holy.
circle.
And I thought UAP stuff was deep.
Well, you haven't heard about the stuff we snuck out of the archives.
Oh, I have. That's a good. I couldn't get you to talk when I had you on my show, though.
Well, you didn't ask the right questions, Carrie.
Oh, Carrie.
All right. Well, Gene, we're going to have you back on with Gene. And we'll get to the right questions. Yeah, he is one of them that
Well,
got some of that real cool secret stuff.
I'm trying. Gene and I have talked about this, and I need Debbie's assistance in doing this for getting a friend of mine on this show and having her interviewed. We need to talk about this offline, you and
yeah.
anyway, the three of us.
Yeah,
But,
because you got to make that happen, you guys.
we need
yeah.
to make this happen
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
this is the person.
Remember, we believe that many great things will yet be revealed about the kingdom of God. So this is
That's right.
What do you got, Rob?
Well,
On this channel.
on
what I,
this channel.
one
like,
thing,
right here, right now.
For all 11 fans.
the way that Carrie ended his show Sunday, though, was quite apropos, and that we are all seeking further light and knowledge.
That Father
Still,
promised.
to this day.
Unless we have a
Knock,
hangover.
knock, knock.
Maybe we'll
What
light
is
some
wanted?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
Adam, having
There's
been
a
true in faith,
three.
desire.
Oh, I thought you were saying knock, knock, knock on the ceiling. If you want.
want me.
well, that would have been better, but I was like temple worthy. Like, knock,
Richard
knock,
wants to
knock.
know if we can
What
get
is
an alien as a
Wow.
guest.
Get a what as a guest?
An alien. They're streaming across our border as we speak.
I could probably go out in the fields and no, never mind.
You guys, you're something else.
I could respond to that, but then this YouTube would get demonetized, so I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, don't say it.
Just
Well, I
change
don't know. Do we have enough viewers to get money for what
We are
say?
alien positive.
So Gene does have, if Gene has 4,000 watch hours, he's over 1,000 subs. So if he has 4,000 watch hours,
Yeah, I've been
then YouTube
monetized
qualifies.
since
he's
John
been
Boleyn came on
Okay,
the show. And he
good.
pushed us
Someone
over.
gave him $30 tonight, and that was very kind. That was
Damn it.
Conan. Yeah, Conan.
That was
You know what I
Conan.
haven't figured out is how to get the money from.
And remember, Tim,
Yeah.
when we weren't left out, Conan promised us dinner when we go to
That's
Thrive.
right. He promised us dinner.
He thinks he's going to get away with just talking about it. We're going to find it.
Gene, so real quick, in your dashboard on the far right, there should be something for you to set up a Google AdSense account.
So see, I set it up, but I haven't figured out how to connect my bank account to it. I thought I put all the information in. Maybe I switched some numbers.
You might have, because what you do is it'll give you, like, it'll tell you what to do, and you set it up through Google AdSense. You put in your account, it gives you like a few cents to verify it, pulls it out, and then it starts a monthly process.
Right.
So
like once every time.
Hey, we could all become
goes up
rich.
to 100.
You all
then
should
they
learn
put it in
what
there.
he just told
once a
you,
month.
how to make
We-
more money on your AdSense.
And then we could be making
Diamond
money
Dave,
like the
thank you.
we could be making money like the girls on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and we could all take elaborate trips all over the place, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you
If
probably
anybody
could.
wants- If anybody wants me to sell vibrators and give me $30,000,
Why can't we do the
Yeah,
secret
have-
lives,
Debbie has to test them first, though.
my favorite. We can do a
lives of Mormon husbands?
we can do a
Oh,
test,
okay.
a blind test on what the
Women's
best vibrators are.
satisfaction has been so underrated in the Mormon church, and men,
That is
I
so
don't know where
true.
you've been.
we need to
That
get
is
a lot
so
more viewers in here, because then I could just be like, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't donate $30 now, Carrie is taking his shirt off. Donate now if you don't want to see that.
Dude, you're thinking too small. Make them give you 100. Nobody wants to see me without my shirt.
We're just a bunch of shrimp, so ours would be prawn shoulders.
Just see.
Prawn shoulders, not porn. Hello,
Just
boys.
do it. Just do it. Just do the
You gotta
opposite.
get sweaty to get heady.
Dun, 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 dun. There we go. All men, show your shoulders.
Oh my god, there's so much porn shoulder. I'm like literally like
See, what we're gonna
I'm
do
gonna
is
go
change-
talk to my bishop tomorrow.
Oh boy.
we're gonna
Really?
change the alien. Really? What's your
Well,
secret?
Gene, if you need help setting up the monetization, let me know. Because it's actually easier to make money on YouTube than I thought. My first payout for 5 days was $123. This month is like 220 something.
You're way
Wow.
past me.
So it's like doubling. If I can find a way to double it to like 400 and then 800 over the months go on, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Porn shoulders pay. Okay?
So,
Just
Diamond
porn
Dave, where do you have
shoulders
like
pay.
1 million followers? What's that on?
I'd love 1 million followers. No, I have 115,000
Oh,
on
115.
Facebook. I have it on Facebook.
On Facebook.
So that's a combination of, it used to be gaming, and then I went viral for, shall we say, some controversial statements. And my following just exploded internationally. And then I occasionally, I ran like 3 or 4 ad campaigns and got maybe like 10,000 of those followers from the ad campaigns, but almost all of it's pure organic.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's how it
But
works.
yeah, you can't monetize the Facebook
Yes, you can.
page. Oh, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Yes,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
can.
now you
Yep.
can.
I heard you can. Yeah.
You can for a while, because it used to be like gaming video creator pages, which I had, and then that kind of went down the toilet. And so now there's like digital creator pages, video content creator pages, and like public figure pages where you can get paid for posting. Basically, you get paid for engagement. If you do reels and they get X amount of views, you can make money off of ad revenue. It's kind of like YouTube, except a bit more weird. So That's why I'm focusing mainly on YouTube right now, just because, I mean, I'm only at 1,416 followers. So
That's all right. That it'll grow naturally. Yeah, it really will. Yeah. You're doing great. I'm just saying. You have the blessing of the holy backyard professor.
BYP is like, I
but are you,
believe
but do I have your
some-
subscription? Do I have your
Oh
subscription?
no, is
Like-
nothing. I'm keeping my own. Get your own.
That's
Not a
right. Well,
channel member, sir, just the subscribe button.
we're coming on the
Be sure to
hour
like
and a
and
half
subscribe to
long
this
show,
video.
and maybe
Yeah.
we'll wind it down. My main thing was to sort of get Carrie's experience with his UAP
Oh, Tim's
showings. How many shows have you done so far since 11 days ago?
I think 10. I've been averaging
Yeah.
one a day. Yeah.
It's going to
Only
be 10 or
because it's
11.
so dadgum interesting, but yeah.
It's
And you
mind blowing.
joined that group.
What's that?
You joined a group. On your first on one of your shows. You said
yeah.
everybody should join this group.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody
well,
should join
I
Carrie's
thought
group.
Oh, well, no, I was joining. That would be nice. You're welcome to. But I thought I could join the Soul Foundation, but I'm not qualified. That is
Okay.
strictly really world-class academics, which is awesome. But you can read their papers, get their schedules for their speeches and all that jazz. And they have some magnificent YouTube videos also. So the Soul Foundation, and then the other one is the Citizens for Disclosure. That's the Danny Sheehan group. That one you can join. It's free. You can get involved in all kinds of, you can volunteer for all kinds of different stuff. And I mean, listen, the potential possibility of just meeting Danny Sheehan is worth joining as far as I'm concerned. But it's the caliber of the volunteers, the people across the nation that are getting involved, that just takes your breath away. We are a nation full of fabulous people. You 6 are right. Well, you 5, minus the idiot up here in the corner, are just fabulous examples of how good people are in the world. So, I mean, it's exciting to get involved in something that's useful, hopefully, and encouraging to other people. For we have something to live for spectacularly. Even though I'm with Rob. You know, the critical thinking says remarkably fascinating, absolutely mind-boggling, but we're just not yet there. And I don't know if I have the faith to go all the way, and yet I'm attempting to, because I think it would be great. See, I have a vested interest. I want there to be extraterrestrial civilizations coming here, but I just don't have the proof, you know. And I don't want one of them to be named Moroni, or I'm going to hit him right in the mouth.
The BYP files. I want to believe.
Yeah, I want. The truth is out there.
The truth is out there. So
I enjoyed Tim on the remote viewing and Rob on his comments, and Diamond Dave, you always rock, dude. We need more good younger generation. And Gabby, you're just so beautiful and lovely and skeptical, but you are beyond incredible.
Debbie's wonderful.
She is.
Debbie's a rock star.
Nobody said it. Hey, we forgot Rob. What about Rob? Rob's just in the corner.
No, I mentioned Rob.
Oh, you did? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay, I just want to make sure. I saw him making faces. I'm like, did you just ignore Rob? Like, poor Rob is up in the corner. Like,
hey, let's do a contest real quick. Who can pull the ugliest face? I win.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, watching Ancient Aliens.
you're looking at it.
That's cute.
When I was a kid, I saw that movie with
aliens are coming, looking busy.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he wrote the book, The God, something about Chariots of the Gods.
Oh yeah,
Eric Von Daniken.
Yeah, Eric Von Daniken. Watched that movie at the theater. My parents took us there, and I thought it was pretty cool. Got to see lots of the world, right? Different places.
Yeah,
like National Geographic or the Ghostbusters, you know. But my wife and I started watching Ancient Aliens about 10 years ago, and it actually helped me to think about things. Like when it's the first time I ever heard of Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah.
And when they're uncovering the things that are 10,000 years old. And I was like, well, 10,000 years old. Let's see, Adam and Eve were 6,000 years ago. You know,
Nate Roberts was right.
old.
Mites.
And it was some amazing things. And they take you all around the world. Got to see Thailand temples and other things.
Yeah, that was
and
good
so,
stuff.
You know, it's a fun show. It's a
Angkor
beautiful show, you know, and it helped us think. My wife came up with a theory. She thought that maybe aliens rent the earth every 10,000 years. They pay for a 10,000 year period and they do scientific experiments. Sometimes it's a certain type of dinosaur, sometimes it's a certain type of other things. And this last 10,000 years has just been humans helping humans, you know, get smarter or whatever. You know, that was
Well,
just
they sure blew that one.
and that's
Oh,
why
one of
that's
my-
when she was a true believing Relief Society secretary. She came up with that theory.
Gene, and what drug did you slip your wife to make her believe this? I mean,
She wasn't
that was
believing
some
it. She was
wild
just-
stuff from
she
a
was like-
Relief Society president. Okay,
She was
okay.
playing along with it, right?
Oh,
It's like-
yeah, she was.
If everybody's going to have their theory that the aliens are going to come in April, why not come up with another theory?
One
Right?
of my favorite South Park
Damn,
is the one
Gina.
where the aliens are watching, and then the antenna goes out of Cartman's butt.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
He transmits. He's a transmitter.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
do
I
not
gotta-
talk
I
about
gotta-
that play.
What?
I gotta confess, I, I'm still, Carl Sagan. I just there isn't enough yet, and yet we have some. We screamed for years. Well,
For ice cream.
show us a good video. Well, good Lord, the best videos are from those fighter pilots, and then
That's
everyone
right.
complains, well, they're still too fuzzy. It's a radar
It's an
infrared
an
video
infrared image.
that flight with the UFO, and the UFO does something that is declared an act of war that no fake thing can do. It resisted the locking of the radar.
But you know, Tic Tacs, if you ever had a Tic Tac, they vanish quickly.
Oh, they taste
You
great.
drop them, you never see them again. They might bounce.
They
and go
disappear
under the
just as fast as the big ones on the floor. Bam, where'd that thing go? Oh, it went
I've
over
always wondered if, like, because from what I've read and from what I've seen, I can't help but wonder if we're we as like a species when we talk about such things. Because I've seen so many things, like even Carrie said, well, splitting a formation is an act of war. That's assuming they think in human terms.
No, I mean for us.
Yeah, but
You-
for us it is,
you
but for
split our
them it's not.
formation.
And I don't.
You split our formation, we're coming after you.
That's
But
right.
they-
For the aliens, it might be like French kissing.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say diversionary, just like, hey, leave me alone, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Mononucleosis. You're
You
gonna
know
get
what
the
else?
kissing disease. I need to
You know what else is an act of war?
What?
Anytime a bomber opens its bomb bay doors, it's an act of war.
Interesting.
Ooh.
It's
Okay,
true.
Even if it's
It's true.
if it's empty, if the door's open and it's over something, that is considered an act of war. Even if there's nothing in the bomb bay.
I'm gonna
If
keep
you're in
my
an F-14 and you fly upside down, you fly inverted and you flip the bird to the Russian.
That's different. That's
Okay, I
harassment.
just want to know what Rob thinks about this whole conspiracy channel weirdness that we just went down, because he's like literally in charge of aircraft control. So I feel like he might have like some of you guys need to check yourself.
I want to absorb as many perspectives and opinions as I can, and I don't want to value my opinion over somebody else's.
You're so nice.
When I was in the Air Force, I rented an airplane, and a buddy of mine and I were flying across Oklahoma building hours. And we looked over, and the alternator had gone out, and so it's draining the battery. This is at night, and we know that we're going to need electricity to click the microphone to turn on the runway lights. Otherwise, we have to land in the dark, right?
Oh no.
And so I say to the other guy who was doing the flying, I said, hey, you need to turn off the master switch. And he says, no, that'll kill the engine. I said, no, it won't. It's like magnetos, like on a diesel. It's not going to kill the engine. And so he's thinking I'm trying to get him killed. I'm thinking he's trying to get me killed by draining all of our electricity, So I finally convinced him to turn off some of the lights on the aircraft. And we're still arguing. We're in a big debate. And right then, out the window, we see this craft streaking across the sky and just past us. And we both looked at each other. I said, what the heck was that? He says, I think that was an aircraft. I said, no, way too fast for an aircraft. And we thought, well, maybe it's a comet. No, not that fast. And well, it stopped our argument, which was great. I eventually convinced him to turn off all of our lights. We saved enough battery. We clicked, the lights came on. We landed safely. I got home. I was telling my wife this story as we watched the evening news, and sure enough, there was an update. The space shuttle had returned to orbit and had successfully landed at Houston. And that was that green streaky thing that I saw moving across the sky, Wow. So, there was an opportunity for me to really want to believe in that, but
there was a naturalistic explanation.
A naturalistic explanation. Thank you, Dan Vogel. Yeah.
Thank you, Dan Vogel. Yeah.
But then again, more recently, I have partaken in ayahuasca, so my mind did open up to the possibility that there may be a little more going on than what we see with our eyeballs.
I think everything is natural, including UAPs and consciousness. I think it's all natural. Personally, being a big Star Trek fan, it's like nothing unreal exists. So everything that we see is going to have like some type of rational explanation or physical explanation, even if it's beyond our understanding. You know what I mean? It's still conforms to something natural.
Our view of reality is entirely based on our human physical size.
Yeah,
we see what we see in the wavelengths and forms that we see because of the size of our eyeballs. Yeah. But we know the spectrum. Well, we postulate the spectrum. We only see a small part of it. With our instruments, we've seen a bit more on both sides, but we suspect that thing goes out to infinity. What kind of reality would that show us?
Do you think that is Mormonism, though? Like, in a nutshell? No. Like, that kind of thinking?
No, Joseph Smith only saw the beam of white light. He did not see the rainbow.
Heller aus der kleinsten Sonne allmählich auf mich herabkommen, denn ich sah zwei Gestalten. Jede Beschreibung spottete oben in der Luft stehen. Einer von ihnen sprach zu mir, dies ist mein geliebter Sohn, hört ihn.
Are we speaking in tongues?
I don't sprechen. I don't sprechen.
That's it in German. That's it in German.
Oh, okay. I thought I was having a stroke for a second. I'm like,
ausgezeichnet, mein Freund. Ja.
Nachdem ich bin an den Ort zurückgezogen, den ich vorher dazu aussehen hatte, schaute ich mich und fand, dass ich allein war. Ich kniete mich nieder und wünschte der Wunsch, meine Gott zu bringen. Und als I bete, sagt zwar gestanden. I went to the woods to pray, and I prayed, kneeled down, and I prayed, and I saw two beings.
Did you start it off by saying Mr. Brown?
Si, senor.
Hair brown. Yeah, hair brown.
Hair brown. No hair today.
It's been 50 years, and I still have the goddamn thing memorized.
Talk about a brainwash.
The whole spectrum is not like unique to Mormonism at all. I mean, there's references in it to the Quran. It's definitely in Hinduism. There's also elements of it in Buddhism because Buddhism stems from Hinduism. Taoism, even. It's generally like, regardless of what different
hey, that's Taoism, not Tao.
Well, there's also Taoism too. There's also some of it in Taoism.
Oh, that is apostate.
Okay, Rob had something to say.
I may have lost all hope for Mormonism being true, but I do hold a little bit of hope that there is extraterrestrial intelligent life in the universe. And when they show up, if they strip me naked and put a shield on me and they start reaching in and touching my body, I will reconsider Mormonism as possibly true. Okay,
That's right.
That's what
As
I'm saying.
long as they have the right
I'm
oil.
not giving them the penalties of death. I'll tell you what.
I'm just gonna pull a Quagmire from Family Guy. I'll just be standing there awkwardly, be like, so you guys gave up the anal probe thing, huh? You still got the thing, out of curiosity?
I like in the movie Paul, when Paul goes into the kitchen and comes back with a bagel and says, "Anybody want one of these?" He's holding a bagel on his finger.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Right now we're getting risque.
Blue
Okay.
River.
You get the win. All right,
There you
Gene.
go.
Yeah.
Gene gets the
All
win
right,
tonight.
Thanks,
all right.
everybody,
First
for
comment,
watching.
Gene.
Check out the Backyard Professor's shows that he's doing on the UAPs and UFOs.
UAPs.
And he has a lot of good comments, and he gets excited about it, but he also says, I know there's reality and other things. We have to keep a scientific mind, but there's a lot of mind-blowing things that you can learn from reading other people's perspectives about things. Thanks,
Yes.
everybody, for watching. Like and
Thank you.
subscribe, and have a great rest of the year.
Yes.
Well,
One week till election day.
some fantasy person comes down your chimney and gives you some presents. Bye-bye.
Take me to your leader.